What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another matchup from the Cursed Dota Invitational. And we are here with the game 3 between Mouse and Team Liquid. This is game number 3. Score is tied up 1-1, and we are going to unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 43, 44, 45, 46. And with me is somebody you all know and love, Lumi. What's up, dude?
I am doing good. I've been casting with a lot of other casters today, but I gotta spread my C, if you know what I'm saying.
No.
No? Alright, good.
No, I get it. It was just very, very bad.
No, it's not. Fuck you.
It was pretty bad. Anyway, Liquid going out the Wisp, Mouse gonna ban out the Nyx. Makes a lot of sense. Nyx, very, very powerful. TC's lifestealer is really, really strong. Meanwhile, Liquid banning out the Wisp, interesting since Wisp has been fading out a little bit, but I guess Mouse likes to play the Wisp. Maybe it's just a more team-focused ban, and Mouse gonna ban out the Nyx, so that leaves Bat Rider left in the pool, Lone Druid, a lot of other really strong heroes.
Yeah, Magnus is in the pool, and I imagine it's gonna be banned out or one of the first hero being picked up. I'm actually very curious to see what the win rate is for Lifestealer because it's such a high impact hero. I'm not sure whether it's the Windrunner of the old. Remember the old Windrunner that she was constantly first pick or first ban, and she just had like a 50% win rate. Like it just did not make any sense. I wonder
Well,
if
Windrunner was
Lifestealer's
like over the span of 3 years. Lifestealer's been
sure,
like six
sure.
months.
Yeah,
So,
maybe, and of course, I want to say that Windrunner is less OP compared to Lifestealer, but you know, it's all good.
yeah, Mouse gonna pick up the Nature's Prophet. Mouse is one of those teams who likes to split push. They like to sort of take engagements while Black rises up, but still split pushing is a viable option if Black does want to go in late game. Meanwhile, Liquid gonna pick up Keeper as well as Clock. Bulba's Clock is on another level to all the other Western clocks, and I think it might be safe to say it's on par with a lot of the Eastern clocks. I don't know if that's a little bit too ambitious, but I'm gonna stand by that.
Yeah, I definitely know that Boba studies Eastern Replay at the very least. I know he fiends on. Somehow he has LGD China's replay, which nobody else in the world has. And of course, there's a very good player there called Kabu, and he plays a beautiful clock. But back to here, I completely agree. His clock is completely legendary. I want to see actually this Keeper of Light play. I know you're not a big fan of the hero because he's so turly, he's so defensive. But the way that Team Liquid generally plays their Keeper of Light is that they go on the offense with it. They use that recall and it's basically a globally orchestrated kind of ganking squad that gets ported around the map, and it's very exciting to watch. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for that.
I don't know. Whenever I see Liquid play with their keeper, it's aggressive laning phase, and then it just does what Kyle does in the mid game, which is just be boring as heck. But you know, I'm biased against this old man. He's pretty creepy, and Liquid gonna pick up the Shoudian, so they have their setup for their aggressive shine. Keep in mind they could potentially go aggressive with Clockwork, as I think they've done that quite a number of times with Bulbous Clock. Mouse gonna pick up the puck, denying it to Korok as well as securing themselves a nice mid solo for Fata. So I imagine Mouse gonna look to ban out carries as well as mid solos to protect the puck. And interestingly enough, Magnus has left or made it through the first pick, first ban phase unscathed, and Mouse probably not gonna pick it up. We'll see if they ban it.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point that you brought up. Mouse Sport, I mean, if they want the Magnus, they don't really have a room for it. Nature Prophet is mostly going to go on the off lane, Puck's going to take the mid lane. So basically what it means is that Team Liquid doesn't even need to ban the Magnus. If Mouse Sport's afraid of it, they have to basically waste one of their bans. I guess, in theory, Mouse Sport could still pick it up and run him as maybe a carry row, or maybe send Nature's Prophet as a full jungle, a la Dignitas style. But if Team Liquid wants a hero, they just leave it in the pool, they don't do anything, and it forces Mousesport's hand. So that's a great point that you brought up, how Magnus is still a very great, impactful hero, still left in the pool, and let's see if either teams even care. I'm ranting on about Magnus and how OP he is, but maybe neither team really cares about Magnus.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because usually when you pick up Magnus, you have that in the mid lane, you have some sort of melee carry that can synergize you in power with, whether it be a Lifesteal or a Lone Druid with the Bear to give him some immense farm, or even without that, even if you have a Gyrocopter with the range DPS. But Mouse could also leave the Magnus in the pool. They have the Rubik, so they might be saying, alright, Liquid, go ahead, take the Magnus. We have the Rubik, we have the potential to steal RP, and in conjunction with the Puck Ultimate, that could just be very, very annoying for Liquid to deal with, but still, it's always a dicey situation leaving Magnus through the pool. He's just such... Whenever it's a late game situation, I always put my money on the team with the Magnus. And Mouse getting about the Skywrath Mage, I think in game 2, Mouse probably got wrecked by Skywrath. I'm not too sure. Liquid getting about the Alchemist. Black's Alchemist and Mouse in general run a weird style of Alchemist, as sometimes they actually roam with the Alchemist back when Alex was on the team as a support who transitioned to utility items such as Mech. So Liquid looks like they've done their research as well as they should.
Yeah, Skywrath Mage definitely the new flavor of the week. I suppose Standy's been using it to great effects for Navi, and he's one of the few heroes that straight out beat Magnus on the mid lane, which is somewhat hard to do considering that Magnus Battle Crow. We keep bringing up Magnus because he's such a big part of the scene, and I'm still very surprised that he's neither picked up or banned so far. Great point bringing up the Alchemist as well. It seems like Team Liquid has the capability to go both offensive and defensive, and should they want to play a little bit more up-tempo and aggressive against trying to push down a couple of towers, Acid Spray is probably one of the more annoying spell to push again. Very similar to Illuminate. It just stays around for a long time. It weakens you. It kills creeps eventually. And it's actually very, very hard to actually fight under that Acid Spray. And last but not least, it's probably one of the best way to cancel Blink Daggers in the game because the AoE is so, so big. So for now, they will get rid of it. You talked about the ganking aspect of the hero. I think it's just a great late game carry as well as some early game tower defense hero. Just all being provided by Grievous Greed and Acid Spray.
Right, so Liquid, right now if you just look at their lineup, it can be aggressive, it can also be very defensive. Liquid always picks up these very versatile picks, very versatile roles that their heroes can transition into. Right now they are lacking a bit of DPS. For the most part, Clock doesn't really dish it out. Shadow Demon with the Soul Catcher isn't really the most reliable mechanism in the team fights. Well, most Shadow Demons can land Soul Catcher, but I imagine Liquid is going to pick up some solid DPS very, very soon. Interesting enough, they're going to ban the Gyrocopter. We have seen a trend against Gyrocopters recently in the Western scene. He has been placed in nearly as high regard just because you still don't want to deal with the late game Gyrocopter, but people have figured out how to sort of manage a mid game Gyrocopter. But meanwhile, Mouse is going to have to decide between their carry or their secondary support right about now, unless they want to put Nature's Prophet in the jungle and get some sort of other offlane.
Yeah, I don't expect that's going to be the case. I assume that Nature's Prophet is going to be going on offlane. But back to your point about the Gyro, yeah, you're right. Teams have been figuring out. He's very, very squishy, and if he goes BKB, sure, that gives him the survivability, but you could still burst him down if you have the right heroes in lineup. And his damage is going to be, output is going to be somewhat weakened. Lina is going to be a secondary support, so Mouseport definitely has a ton of burst damage. And good thing that Gyro wasn't in the pool, I suppose, because that machine will get blown the hell up. It was a tough ban for Team Liquid, because TC loves that hero, he plays it very well. But they're more afraid of Mouseport picking up, because they're already very mobile with the Shadow Blade on Nature's Prophet, with possibility of double blink on Rubik and Puck. And adding a Gyro on top of that is just too much crowd control. A Dream Coil into a call down will just wreck every member of Team Liquid. They're very squishy for now, so I think it was a good ban from Team Liquid, and they're going to be picking up a tanky carry in the form of Lone Druid. You're not a big fan of this hero because True Form just gives him, 1,000 HP, about 1 billion armor at level 16, and he's just hard to bring down. He has great laning stage. It's just one of those heroes that baffles you. It's like, why is he the 8th hero being picked up? He should be the first pick and first ban in most draft, in my opinion.
I think this also has the potential to set up Magnus last pick because they can still go with the mid. They have the Empower giving it to the Lone Druid or the Bear, so Mouse has to be a bit careful. I think Liquid's last pick will be the Mag, just because he has made it this far thus far. And we're going to see Synderen most likely on Luminous. Synderen has been playing quite remarkably. Mouse is looking re-energized, but they are in a pool with EG in their qualifier group, and only one team can make it out from each group. A little bit of a weird setup, but hey, that's TI3 qualifiers for you. But still, Synderen probably going to be handling the Lina. I don't know if you guys have seen those pictures on Reddit of Synderen's face photoshopped into various heroes. My personal favorite is the Synderen Nyx, where it's just Sin. I don't know what your favorite is.
I've definitely, the only one I've seen is Synderen's face over Lina, which gave me very weird feelings, and it
stirred up some uncomfortable emotions down here in other regions.
There were some uncomfortable emotions, but going back to the TI3 Western Qualifier, which will be broadcasted by GD Studios, so just definitely check them out. I don't know where to root for. EG is a team that I want to see them do well. Mouseport is another team that I think has a raw talent to go very, very far in the actual TI3. So hopefully maybe both teams would qualify. But Weaver in this game is going to be the last pick up here. I'm a little bit surprised about Weaver. He's a very mobile hero, so that's good. But there's a lot of ways for Team Liquid to deal with them. Cogs are Of course, 200 mana burn, 200 damage being dealt. It really restricts Weaver's movement. You can root him and keep him in place. I guess right now Weaver's really taking advantage of the fact that Team Liquid doesn't really have any true disables. You have Cogs, which I guess you could count on them. You have Root, really unreliable. And you have, of course, the hookshot, which, again, unreliable. So maybe taking advantage of the fact that Team Liquid doesn't have true lockdowns, and Weaver should be a decent carry hero in this case.
Yeah, just going back to the qualifiers for one last second. Mouz and EG are in the same group, and only one team can move on from each group, so no Mouz or EG in...
Wait, can you get second place? Or no, not at all?
Not in a group. There's 2 separate groups, and the winners of each group then play in the best of 5. So, since Mouz and EG are in the same group, they can't both
Oh,
make
that
it.
sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Because I think they are the best teams in the West, but are in the Western qualifiers at least. I mean, it's random. You sort of have to be fair. Anyways, Korok going to be playing the TA, not going to be a Magnus Slice, like I initially suspected. So this is going to give them a bit more burst damage, which I think they were definitely lacking. Just going back to the Weaver one more time, I think this is a solid choice just because I don't imagine Mouz are looking to take too many teamfight engagements. They want to be split pushing that and Nature's Prophet. And Koika's Nature's Prophet is actually very, very impressive. And Liquid, they're good at defending against the push, but they will be spread thin by the Mouz resources if Mouz just continues to split push relentlessly. Although you do have to respect the immense burst damage of the TA. And TA versus Puck, of course, this is sort of the reason why we have been seeing a TA revival, is because of the Puck matchup. And Korok plays a really, really strong TA, so I imagine he should have a solid time in this lane.
Yeah, let's quickly introduce the players here. TC is going to be going up on the top lane, playing that Lone Druid. Back in the mid, it's going to be, I imagine, a Templar Assassin being handled by Korok. On the bot lane, it's going to be Boba. Seems like they're going to be running this offensive tri-lane. Clockwork, of course, is going to be his hero. Fluff and Stuff is going to be playing that Keeper of Light. My eyes on him on terms of global pressure being outputted by the mid game. And last but not least, Ix Mike, the man of Stash, will be playing the Shadow Demon.
On the side of Mouz, we're going to have Synderen playing the Lina. Koiko is playing the Nature's Prophet. Fada is going to be playing the Puck. Black is going to be playing the Weaver. And Pos is going to be playing the Rubik. And you can see Fluff already with Sentry Wars in the bag, so he is anticipating Weaver being in the safe lane, which makes a lot of sense. Nature's Prophet will most likely be in the off lane. And Liquid, they are going to go aggressive like you previously mentioned. And Keeper Light actually has a smoke, which is going to be pretty interesting because Keeper Light is not really the best roaming heroes, but this is very indicative of Liquid style. They always like to get this smoke on their supports just to make something happen. And even if they don't really make any kills happen, they always get some sort of advantage from it, whether it be just intimidating the carries back or just sort of placing some wards. So Liquid always love these early game smokes. They burn through them like no other. So I'm going to be interested to see how Fluff uses this first smoke.
We're lucky haste in here for Boba. So basically for the next 30 seconds or so, Synderen trying to do a little bit of high ground deny, not going to be under Mike's watch. Of course, Mike will see Synderen right now with the help of that particular observer up the hill. But yeah, pretty decent play also. In terms of the smoke, I actually think it's basically a waste of go as you see Boba cogging the bot creep wave. Very nice tactic to get the creep equilibrium closer and closer to that tier 1 tower. I feel that smoke's basically a waste because you're not going to be able to gank top mid. Really, it's going to be hard to gank. Maybe you could set all the way to gank up top. I guess that's possible. But we'll see how it goes. Boba, of course, will be trying to take some CS on the bot lane. But really, I'm not sure how many kills they can get in this particular lane.
Mid lane Korok already handled himself very nicely with the 2 denies, as Puck is going to have a really difficult time. Doesn't have any damage over time spells to break through the TA. The base damage is just not there for the Puck, and Fada was pulled a set of tangos at the very least, so he's going to get himself a bit of extra damage, which is completely necessary. But that is going to weaken the Trine a little bit, so the Mouse Trine is going to have to play a bit defensively. Luckily for them, they have 3 range heroes, so if they can avoid a lot of the harassment, that should be very good. But right now, there's a massive creep wave pulling up on their bottom tower, and the creep pull is going to be contested. So right now, Liquid maneuvering themselves nicely as Fluff managed to steal both of the neutrals, so really nicely done. As Bulba, all he's going to take is a bit of harassment. So far, Liquid playing solidly, but I mean, Clock is a hero who does need experience, so we'll see how this works out in the end.
I mean, generally, if he's playing Trialing versus solo, right, he probably doesn't get any experience. So he's actually getting a decent amount. Of course, this is the reason why you could go offensive Trialing here with the Keeper of Light. Because, yeah, you allow them to the pull. You don't even need to block it off. And you steal it with Illuminate. A little bit of more gold and experience going to pockets of the Team Liquid players. And, of course, you can see, I'm not sure if your camera was on Boba there, but he basically tanked the creep wave for about 10 seconds. Again, you don't want the creep wave under your tower, but you want it close to your tower, and now he's getting some safe farm, and he's trying to get some lasted there as well.
Meanwhile, Koiko is taking the fight right to TC, already hurting down the bear quite often. Usually, I think this matchup favors the Nature's Prophet in the early going, but as the levels go on, Nature's Prophet really is going to have a difficult time. But at the very least, Koiko finding some farm. We'll have to see if he goes for the Midas. We're going to see Disruption on the bottom lane. Soul Catcher into the Illuminate. Nice cogs, Black. You're dead, son. First blood.
Well, Weaver generally one of the more survivable hero, but Cogs is a 5-second quote-unquote pseudo disable, and you're not running away. Those Cogs take 3 hit the break. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane here, Puck taking a little bit of Mel Strike as well as Refraction Harass, and he should be okay. I don't think there should be any kills here. It's very, very hard for either hero to kill each other if there's no ganks, but it seems like Korok's really dominating lane. Also on the top lane, Prophet may be harassing, but it's really TC that's doing a lot better in terms of the CS. Having an extra 30-40 damage is really, really helpful.
No doubt about that, as Lone Druid is definitely one of the best, if not the best laners in the game. But that bear is going to be very low in terms of HP. It might actually get killed very, very soon, unless TC does resummon it, which he most likely will do, or just send it back to the base to get himself a bit of HP. No, he does decide to resummon just to keep up the aggression. So overall, yeah, TC will be winning the lane more and more heavily as this game goes on. And really, Mouz, they have some strong gankers in the form of Rubik as well as Lina, but it's going to be difficult rotating all the way to the top lane just to put pressure on the Lone Druid. So far, Liquid, it seems like they're winning all 3 of the lanes. And Mouz, they have a pretty strong mid to late game lineup. They have the split pushing in the bag, but it's going to be difficult against Lone Druid and a TA with essentially free farm.
I have no idea what Ice Smite just did. Both Fluff and Ice Smite were smoked up. He just walked on the ramp, perhaps looking for a disruption, but walked into tower range, got to smoke the spell, then now the juke is up. Now Mouseboard know that, hey, you're not making a smoking by yourself, right? Fluff and stuff is probably nearby. And the 2 supports failed the gank, has to go back on the bot lane. A lot of time, and more importantly, a lot of experience lost by Boba, because he wasn't able to walk in lane throughout that time. Boba trying to get some last hit, but look at those denies here. Illuminate and Rocket lowering the HP of that creep wave, and Mouseboard supports be able to deny basically everything.
Yep, as Black has managed to creep ahead of Bulba in the experience department, but Bulba quickly evens it up as he is going to take that second point into Rocket Flare. Interesting, in Tron versus Tron, usually you do want to max the Rocket, but in other matchups, sometimes the clock likes to get those max level of cogs, but he definitely wants to burst damage in this situation. And you can see Bulba just continuing trying to snipe those neutrals, but I guess your prediction was right that Smoke was essentially useless, and Liquid, for their supports, they are getting a decent amount of levels, Fluff level 2.5, but Keeper Light can always find his levels in the jungle, but he's not stacking any camps, and as this Trillion wears on, it's going to become less and less effective, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compare the levels of support, we have a level 4 Rubik already, off just doing pulls and whatnot. He might have one cam that was stolen from him, but for the most part, because of the unsuccessful gank, it's just, again, the Liquid supports are not really catching up. If you want to look at Lina's support, he's 3.5, so like you said, when this laning stage keep going on, and if the Liquid support don't get anything done, they're going to fall behind in the mid-game, and these are not the supports you want to fall behind too. It's a Laguna Blade, it is a Telekinesis Lift into Fable, as well as any spell that he's being stolen, so of course, what are you going to do with a level 4 Keeper in what, 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game? So somehow Team Liquid support's got to find some level. Back in mid lane, Korok forcing the quick orb usage by Puck. Puck does have an Invis, so he was basically fine. And the next rune is going to be spawning, and it looks like both of these solo mid checking up top.
Yep, unfortunately for Fada, he's being out-experienced by a full level, but he will be checking out the top lane a little bit beforehand. Korok knows the Puck is there. Puck does follow the rune, but no Dream Call. Korok, unfortunately, we'll just have to Ball Crow. What a travesty as Ball Crow. I mean, it's there for a reason. But anyway, on the bottom lane, Bulba's going to get ushered away, and really Liquid supports, it looks like they're just trying to get some experience as Bulba's going to get chain stunned down, but only loses about a third of his HP. Meanwhile, I'm wondering where Fluff is. Fluff is actually middle, and he's going to rotate top. This is probably a smart move, as he's not really accomplishing much on the bottom lane, but I'm not going to get too many kills, and if he decides to start creep pulling, that'll definitely get him mostly some experience, as well as maybe make his way towards that mechanism if Bulba is not going for that.
Yeah, meanwhile, a little bit of teleport action going to mid lane. Korok taking a ton damage from a hasted Puck here. He does have refraction. Trap's going to be used, but what's Trap going to do against a hasted Puck? Oh, a little bit of a juke action. He's on that ramp, but I think he knows Orbs blowing away his refraction charges. Any detection, that's the question. I think, are they going to just sit here and wait until he's, I mean, Templar Assassin could pop refract anytime. Oh, the bottle comes in. What kind of deep delivery? He pops another refract. Korok is running away. He does have 2 wand charge. Here comes the support TP. Offensive disruption being used. The Illuminate is not going to hit, but Korok's going to go down. What plays here coming up from Mouz? Patient play, just waiting. Ix Mike might actually go down as well. Cinder, where's the second LSA? It's going to land on Ix Mike, and he's going to get yet until Fluff and Stuff comes in and cleans up. Bata, though, is going to be on the run. So it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade, but I felt like I favored the Radiant team a lot more.
I think you're a little bit ahead of me, as... Yeah.
I'll resume. Where
okay.
you? Tell me the game time.
Game time is 7:39, 40, 41, 42.
Okay.
Yeah, Dota 2 has not been synced up for us that well in these past couple casts. But anyway, yeah, I think definitely Puck has the advantage, or Radiant took the advantage in that team fight because TA is very much a momentum-based hero. And as the game goes on, if she doesn't manage to get those items up, she still does a lot of damage, but supports will find ways to sort of deal with her, whether it be Ghost Scepters, Force Staffs, other mechanisms like that, to sort of make her effectiveness a lot less impactful. But on the other side of the coin, TC was able to clean up the top tower, and you can see Nature's Prophet being doubled up in terms of CS just because of the fear of the entangle. He knows one entangle, and he is dead, as Nature's Prophet actually, interesting enough, went for the phase boots purely for some extra lasting as well as that extra move speed, just to avoid the slow druid. Usually Nature's Prophet do like to go for the treads, but in this lane, just being constantly bullied by the slow druid, I guess phase boots was the preferred option.
Yeah, I mean, he probably won't die because if he gets entangled, he'll just straight TP out, and you're basically forced to do that. But yeah, the phase is definitely trying to basically make him walk away. A little bit more bottle crawling on the mid lane here for Korok as he's trying to get that last hit. I call it a Radiant victory in terms of that previous engagement because everybody on Team Liquid had to TP in, and despite of multiple TP usage, they lost the fight. So that the TPs themselves were a little bit economic damage already being done. But of course, like you said, they won it back with the TC lasted on the tower on the top lane, and he's going to be going for that very perverse build that I call on the Armlet Lone Druid because I don't think that's supposed to be happening. Like, I don't think that's meant to be in the game, but hey, it's in the game, and everybody's using it, so.
Well, it'll probably be fixed next patch, that's what the rumors are, but, I mean, we still have to deal with it until the end of the qualifiers at the very least. But anyways, Cinderin just placing Centaur's pranced around in that hat, which looks oh so stylish, as Korok just continuously bottle crawling, really being denied a lot of farm, has just managed to pick up his phase boots around 10 minutes in, despite winning lane quite heavily. You can see he's still out CSing the puck by a full 11 CS, and has a full 15 denies ahead of the puck, but despite that, again, I feel like the puck can make a bigger impact, at least in the team fights, if Tia can't get a Mojo going, as Fluff is going to get Dream Coiled up, and meanwhile Fada is going to get the winning race. Dragon Slave with Wrath of Nature will help to clean up Cinderin. Korok is going to be on the pursuit, trying to get the rune, going to get Cinderin instead. Nice sprout by Koikwa as IX Mike is on the chase. Shadow Poison, Dragon Slave, Rubik with the telekinesis as Cinderin is going to get blown up. Korok will be on the pursuit trying to hunt down Koikwa. He is going to escape from the trap as Korok going to be forced to retreat, is completely out of mana as here comes TC back in the midst of things. Korok going to take a lot of edge. He is going to get silenced. Koikwa is still in the midst of all the action. Bulba going to get the hook going. Koikwa gets blown up by a meld. Meanwhile, Fada is on the chase, Illuminate wrecking face as TC is just running around with next to full HP. Puck is gonna die, and meanwhile Bulba with a triple kill. Really, really smart rotation by Liquid, as you can see the tank ability of Liquid, which is just allowing them to persevere through these team fights, which is something that Mouz is severely lacking at this stage in the game.
Huge team fight for Fluff and Stuff there, not only picking up level 5, but aiding his team to do a ton of AoE damage. Oh my god, as I say that though, that's the issue of letting the enemy support gain level on you. Cinderin just blew him away with that huge Laguna Blade. He died in the beginning of the team fight, TP back in because the respawn time was so low, able to get the tail end of the XP, but Cinderin again, blowing him away, very easily done. So both teams getting some key kills on the mid lane, and both carries being in the kills, very, very helpful. Eventually, though, I'm not exactly sure who is ahead. I want to just say Team Liquid, perhaps, because they ended up getting a little bit more kills, and they were able to get some T1 tower damage, and now they're going straight into the Roshan pit, taking full advantage of the fact that they have level 3 Mel Strike, and a very, very high attack, high damage barrier at this point. And I think they will get it unless Mouseboard really challenge. I'm not sure even Mouseboard knows about this.
I think even if Mouse wanted to challenge it, they can't, just because there's Illuminate, there's Rockets, there's so many crowd controlling mechanisms in place, and Mouse is just simply not tank enough to do anything about it. They can fight, but, I mean, how can they do the damage with this ridiculous HP pool? As Korok will pick up the Aegis of the Immortal. Hookshot by Bulba, just gonna barely whiff on the two supports of Mouse, and meanwhile Fada is just gonna get the heck out of there. Has the strength, or has the intelligence tread. It's gonna work towards a dagger. Meanwhile Korok with the Aegis can be more aggressive, which is definitely something TA will love to do. Meanwhile, checking out Black, he's really slowed out in terms of farm. You can see TC with the bear, with the armlet, with even last hits, but because of the tower, because he's a bear, because he doesn't really need items compared to the Weaver, he's just able to be so much more effective in these engagements.
Yeah, because the bear has more damage, he flash farm a lot more, and because of the bear has demolish, you leave the bear alone a bit, he's going to push down a tier 1 tower, like he just did on the top one, like he's threatening to do on the mid lane. But they left Black alone for a while. What is he really going to do? I mean, he's going to get some last hit in lane, which is nice and all, but he's really not going to be a threat until he gets basically 2 tier 4 items, and we're very far away from that stage of the game. So Weaver, definitely less threatening of a hero, and that's why he's not really as picked up as frequently as, of course, Lone Druid. Looks like we're going to see a big smoke gank, and Team Liquid is just finding kills everywhere. Paz is going to eat a trap slow. The bear gets lifted here. Clockwork Hook goes the other way. They find Cinder, and Cinder is going to go blown up as well. Paz is dead. The two supports are really paying right now for the Mouseport side. And I think with this, it's going to be a tier 1 tower. The bear just walks right in. Don't even need a creep wave. T1 now will go to Team Liquid. Just really good roaming and really good sieging being done by Team Liquid.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mouse, they had no idea the smoke to see. They had a ward there as Black trying to go to work on that bomb tower. Liquid gonna mass teleport to defend this, ending up using 3 teleports just to get the tower deny, as meanwhile Puck is somehow able to kill IX. Mike, with the help of the coil, gonna try to pursue Fluff, but Fluff will just be able to escape because of his high base moon speed. And Puck gonna have to make a lot of things happen. What does he have? Not really that close to his dagger. His farm, again, is quite pitiful in the middle lane, as again, that base damage difference with the refraction and just the ability to withstand harassment by the TA is just shutting this Puck down. And Puck will have to take a bit of time to recover, as meanwhile TC on the bottom lane looking to go to work, and Bulba, full HP, full mana. Can Mouse actually take this fight? I'm not too sure if they can. Team Liquid, just too beefy.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I like that glyph from Mouseport. They just use it basically for 5 seconds, and well, that's it. So the next time that Team Liquid is pushing for a tier 2, and if Mouseport wants to make a big stand there, they really can't use that glyph strategically.
Teleport in the middle lane by onto IX Mike, Sprout by Koikwa, as they're going to be any help. Nice tree and surround, but the self-disruption is only going to buy IX Mike about 2.5 seconds. What a clutch TN surround, almost something out of Warcraft 3. I mean, it lasts for 1 second, so it's really the biggest move, but still impressive nonetheless. Well, maybe not really that impressive. I might be overstating it, but Bulba gonna wander into the mid lane. Paz, what did he steal? He stole the Rocket Flare, 50 mana cost for a relatively short cooldown spell. Bulba trying to maneuver himself into position to get a hook shot going. Gonna decide better against it. His only target was the Puck, and Puck can just get the heck out of there. So it's gonna be tier 1 taken by Team Liquid on the bottom lane, tier 1 defended, but they lost IX Mike. Liquid's gonna be more than happy to take that trade.
Yeah, losing IX Mike's not a big deal because Fluff and stuff will be actually porting him back, so he's right back in the center of things. The Rocket Flare being taken is actually a huge deal, as not only is it weakening the creep wave, it's also draining a Liquid HP, and more importantly, it's giving them a ton of sight to actually kind of prevent any type of initiate coming in. But I want to go back to your point of Pug not having Blink Dagger. I feel like the way that Mouseport is being pushed upon with the bear in front, with the Clockwork in front, it is almost impossible for Mouseport to defend without that blink. Because, oh, as I say that though, Korok perhaps a little bit out of trouble. The LSA doesn't land, and Korok, he should be fine if the puck doesn't orbit, and he doesn't. The bear is going to be driving everybody away, and that's exactly my point. The bear as well as Clock in front. How do you actually get at the squishy supports at the back line? They're going to use their range to their advantage. Look how Fluff as well as IX Mike is staying very far back. It is going to be impossible for Mouseport to actually start a team fight on their own terms without the blink. So Fada, in my opinion, needs to get that blink ASAP. He's very close to it, but they might lose a tier 2 before he finds that blink.
I think Mouse don't really have a choice in this option. Again, the damage is just not there. But they're getting something at the very least. Black and Koikwa are farming, while all 5 of Team Liquid only getting 1 wave of CS. So Mouse is coming ahead in the experience battle, but this tower, of course, loses so much map control, a lot of positioning. So overall, Liquid definitely going to be very happy with this exchange, and their top tier 1 will most likely get defended. Yeah, Koikwa, the tower is still at near full HP. Yet there's going to be a hook in by Bulba, going to catch out Pos, Light Strike Array. Bulba is going to get blown up, but not before he manages to take down the Rubik, and meanwhile, Mike going to get Dream Cold. Croc will be on the pursuit. He does manage to hunt down Synderen. IX Mike, ooh, nice tower deny? No, not tower deny. I don't know what Puck attacked, but they are going to kill IX Mike. Here comes the teleport in by Black Croc. Will be on the retreat. Still has Aegis in his back pocket. Meanwhile, Fluff will be chased down. Weaver is in the picture, and now Fluff will most certainly end up dying, and Synderen bought back just to try to get more kills on this chase. And Mouz gonna give the tier 2, gonna use a buyback. Ultimately, it was a 3-for-1 if you include the buyback, but Liquid did get a tier 2. Who do you think came out ahead?
Yeah, I think the Radiant definitely came out ahead. They kept, I mean, Synderen buying back is not really a big deal. He's level 8. The buyback cost is not that big of a deal. I don't even know how Synderen has that extra gold, but hey, he has it. He used it. For me, it was a time bot. Any tower you could protect. Well, they didn't really protect the tower, but any kills that you could get and force the next push to slow down is a big win for Mouthsport. They needed the key item. Puck could have picked it up there, and he did. And now you have time for quite far to farm for her next item. Basically, any push you slow down, any kills you get during push, and you elongate the game, it makes Nature's Prophet a stronger hero. It allows Weaver to go deeper and deeper late game, which he truly shines. So I felt that was a big win for Mouthsport. And let's see how they take in this next stage of the game, where Roshan's going to be spawning in about 5 minutes. How many towers can they lock down, and how many kills can they get on these squishy supports with a new shiny Blink Dagger on Puck?
Ooh, Liquid, the glyph at 9 HP on the middle tier tower, and Fada, he's going to go for it. He has the dagger, and he will pick up the tower as Pasta does manage to steal, I think he stole the battery assault, and Puck actually going to be in a bit of trouble. He already used his orb, and he will be on cooldown for the dagger, going to pop his Dream Coil, but he is going to get hookshot. He will end up sacrificing his life just to not really accomplish too much. I think if he was just able to run away straight ahead, he might have been able to escape, but unfortunately, he is going to die. Meanwhile, Mouse is just going to do what their lineup allows him to do, which is split push, and Liquid really just can't contest them in the split pushing department, and without the Aegis, like you mentioned, it is a bit iffy for Croc just to dive in as he normally likes to do. He picked up the drums. Most likely will go for something like a Desolator or a BKB as Koika gonna get spotted out. One hit, no, the bear just did not want to attack, just had no vision. Nice cover, teleport out by Koikwa as Mouse able to pick up that tier 1. They had to sacrifice a Pug for it, but again, the map control, the bit of extra gold that it gives Mouse is invaluable. And Black, trying to make his way towards Linkets, will have it in about 700 gold.
Yeah, I think Puck dying is not a big deal at all. His big item, his next big item is going to be a Scythe of Ice, and it's going to take him a long while. And since he just picked up Blink Dagger, dying once or twice here is not that big of a deal. It's really important for Black to survive, and hey, surviving is exactly what he's doing. Not only that, he's doing a ton of last hit. He's going to have Mantis out in just about one more creep kill, so he's doing quite all right. In terms of the split pushing, I gotta say though, Team Liquid's not that bad in terms of defending split push. They have of course, the rocket flare to send to every part of the map, and it's very easy for Team Liquid supports or anybody to teleport to these outer tier 2 tower, defend the wave, and then get recall back if they're sieging in front of a push. So I think Team Liquid's definitely got this Keeper of Light, and we've seen him use that recall very offensively and defensively on the same point. So we'll see how Team Liquid decides to play this. There is, of course, another Smoke of the Seat up, and it would not surprise me at all if they decide to smoke up and roam into enemy jungle, find a pick-off or two, and decide to pressure enemy towers.
Meanwhile, just checking out the farm on the Mouse Sports, Rubik not even anywhere close to a dagger, only 50 gold, not even anywhere close to a 4-staff, so he's just been warding it up. Synderen, not too much gold either, no arcane boots, and the supports on the Mouse side are quite poor. I mean, on the side, Liquid Fluff has managed to finish the mechanism, so with that, that's going to give Liquid a huge advantage in the next push, and again, I don't think Mouse can actually defend this. Liquid is still very, very tanky, and Weaver, no DPS time, actually went for the straight Manta, rather than going for the Lincolns. I guess he thinks his survivability is enough, and he's not really shakuching for farm, he's just relying on his last hits, and this is a clear indication that this Weaver, non-violence is answer. He wants to be Mahatma Gandhi, just gonna be peace protesting instead of actually seeking out these engagements.
Well, I'm not too sure what looks like we're gonna have engagement on the bot lane here. Dream Cold's gonna be used. He wants Boba. Boba gets defensively disrupted. Purge goes on Synderen. Synderen's the prime target right now, but Synderen blows his load right on top. of Clockwork before he goes down. Meanwhile, looks like a recall is going to come in from Fluff and stuff, and TA is on the middle of the team fight, kills Poss immediately. Now the fight shifts for the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's dead. Puck's going to orb himself while Black is right-clicking. Where is his Manta usage? He's low. He should be able to Manta. No, the root that lasted. TC doing a ton of damage. I think the reason he's gone for Manta is to debuff that root. Lincoln Sphere is not going to be too useful in that regard, but he didn't even use Manta at all in that team fight.
And he didn't use the ultimate either.
Yeah, I think that was a key mistake. Maybe he thought he was going to survive one more hit. Really underestimated damage output of Sabere Bear, who, by the way, has a Maelstrom on top of that armlet. And of course, with the ward that the Lone Druid could do, that's a ton of plus damage. And guess what? Conveniently, they're going to find themselves another Roche kill. So I talked about the late game potential of Mouse for having a Nature's Prophet, having a Weaver, but it doesn't matter how good of a late game you have if you're losing these mid-game team fight and aren't getting enough farm. And now Team Liquid's going to get the second Aegis, and that's going to allow, like you said, Korok to play basically YOLO mode. And that's really not how you want to play against Korok.
Bulba smartly picking up the Force Staff, so now he can cog in, and then just Force Staff himself up saying, what you gonna do about this, as he will be on the one outside looking in, probably cackling to himself evilly. So Clockwork definitely gonna be very happy with this Force Staff pickup, and he's gonna go into the Aghanims just to get that short cooldown, as well as just overall being incredibly more annoying. TC most likely will probably go back into AC. Usually you don't go straight for the Mjolnir, usually you go for something like a Demon Edge or an AC, and then you get Mjolnir at the end. As meanwhile, Mouse forced to group up his 2 or 3, and Black, the problem with Weaver is that his early game DPS against this lineup is just pretty much non-existent, because Liquid is just so incredibly tanky, and it's not gonna get that much better in the next 5 minutes. He's gonna have to really force stall the game, and it's gonna be up to Koiko just to keep the pressure on. He picked up the Shadow Blade, 1k gold in the bank, so he is quite far away from his next fig on him, but still, Mouse, they have to do anything at all just to force stall this game.
Yeah, I completely agree with your sentiment on Weaver. He needs another big item, and he doesn't have the goal or the time, in my opinion, to farm for it. In terms of what he should be doing in a team fight, he is doing exactly on the correct thing. He's going on the Shadow Demon, he's going to Fluff, and basically trying to ward them away from the actual team fight. If you could disrupt the support as best as you can, that's the only thing you could ask for from your Weaver. The problem is, because he kills so slowly, by the time he picks off a support, the enemy bear, the enemy TA, has already picked off your supports and it's moving on to you. So because he kills slowly, he can't even guarantee his own protection. And as a result, you saw how he was chased away in that team fight. He was burst down eventually at the end, simply because his tanking force, I suppose if you could call them that, has already died to the supreme DPS of Team Liquid. Doing a little bit of split push mid.
Bottom lane, Bulba gonna hook in, find Synderen. Synderen was so close to getting the mechanism, but he will end up dying right here. That's gonna be very unfortunate. Actually, Synderen's gonna escape somehow, some way. That Meld Strike did not hit. I'm not too sure what the heck happened right there. As Lumina's gonna fly and gonna push Puzzle away. Mouse, if they get out with 0 casualties, they must count themselves very lucky, as they are gonna actually get away with 0 casualties, and they might very well take down Tier 2 in exchange. They do, in fact, do that, and they're looking to apply some pressure to the middle lane just to force a reaction for Team Liquid. Actually, Puck gonna kill himself. The world is too tough.
I had no idea what Fad did think he was doing. He blinked in, Waning Rift, and then faced. And then he had about 3 seconds to realize, oh wait, I don't have a way to get out. He orbed, but as soon as he came out of phase, he died. Meanwhile, Korok's gonna blink in right on Synderen. He's gonna get picked up into the cog, get his spell being stolen. And here comes Black. Black's going to focus on Ixmac. Ixmac a little bit of self-disruption, but he is going to be basically dead. Nice setup, Synderen Dex, as he lands that LSA, and Black's going to be on the chase. Blind's going to be on top of the siege right now on that tier 3 bear, doing a ton of damage. Look at the first hit root. Black's going to time rock all that. Still holding on that Manta activation, still not using it. Working on the... Look at the bear just sieging. Force Staff over to the side. Clockwork hooks in, and Boba now going right against Black, but he gets lifted out, and Black on the other side of the cogs, able to survive. Tier 3 tower still in the trouble. Buyback here coming up from Boba, and guess what? He's going to get recalled back immediately to Fluff. Tower's going to get destroyed slowly, and the siege continues. How do you stop this push? You got killing Boba, and you wasted a lot of your nukes, but he's right back with full HP, full mana, and a full bottle to work with.
but Black gonna heal himself up. The bear is gonna get sieged down. TC does not have a bear, so after this bear is dead, that's gonna be the end of the push. Dreamcoil is gonna be popped by Fada. Bulba is trying to maneuver himself, gonna get the cogs, looking to just retreat. Fluff gonna take a light edge. Fluff will just sacrifice himself, running ahead, saying, "Come kill me," while my teammate escaped. But Black, it's gonna be so difficult to escape from Black. What is the damage there, though? Bulba just gonna easily run away. Here comes the Nature's Prophet teleport in by Koikwa, and Bulba gonna force stab himself away. Korok will be there trying to help out his ally, but Bulba, oh man, just a little bit too late on the hook. I think it was probably on cooldown, pretty long cooldown at that level, and Black is gonna be on the pursuit, trying to chase like Korok. Korok still has Aegis, so Korok will be just fine. Not too sure what Black's actually doing, just trying to intimidate Korok, saying, "Get the heck out of here." And Mouz defending that very, very impressively. Really, without the bear, a lot of your frontline tanking, because despite me always saying that Liquid have just so much survivability, I mean, pushing in into a tower is just another different story, as Puck gonna get purged up, will escape from the orb. No, he's gonna remain in place. Fada making some interesting decisions. Can he blink away after this phase? That is the real question. No, he's gonna get completely owned. Not too sure about Fada in this game. Maybe it's some server lag, as that still does exist, and meanwhile Liquid gonna be more than happy to snatch up that kill, but the creep equilibrium is not in their favor, so it's gonna be a while before they can mount their next push.
Yeah, it's the second time that we've seen Fada kind of have some questionable play with that puck, and it's definitely, I mean, the previous death and the death after right now, he's not going to have that sacrifice for a long while, and as a puck, you cannot give away those free kills. But going back to the previous team fight, I thought it was a great defense from Mouthsport. Not only did they basically quote-unquote force out buyback on the clockwork, they killed him a second time, so he's not going to have an item progression. Basically, I want to say for the remainder of the game. We saw Ultimate Orb early one into early force out, but since then his item progression has slowed to a crawl. Korok want to apply more pressure. He's got the BKB. C supports. BKB's going to get popped, and Cinderon's basically going to be dead. Look at, oh, nice mech usage, but eventually he's going to go down. The Clockwork Hook is going to come right in and pops. Look at those Mail Strike. That's double, and I do believe bot or mid is in huge trouble right now.
Yep, no buyback on the supports. 30 seconds, and I don't know if they can actually defend their Rex. They have Nature's Prophet Desolator, but the bear has a Basher, which he had in the last push. As Puck looking to defend, he has Ultimate, like you previously mentioned. I mean, if they can kill the bear with the Desolator, that would be very, very key in this defense. And actually, Liquid going to rotate bottom, sensing there's no tower, but the creep wave is not in their favor. They're just going to have to rely on rockets pushing out the wave, and that's going to buy time for the Mouse Sports to respawn. So I think Liquid could have probably gotten the tier 3 in this exchange, so this waiting around might not be the best option, but it seems like they want to go for it. Maybe if they realize if they take the mid-rack, Spawn-Rax is just going to be so easy to take, so that might be the thought process, but they might just not get anything. They're going to be forced to retreat.
Yeah, and I think maybe they're going to settle for a Roshan later on. It was just tough. The creep wave wasn't there like you talked about. This is the beauty of having a mobile team, such as, and of course a mobile hero in the form of Nature's Prophet. Also, I love his item choice. For example, a lot of Nature's Prophet player would be like, all right, going to go for the standard Midas into Shadow Blade into Scythe of Ice. I think Desolator was the perfect pickup here. Not only is it really good against the Spirit Bear that's going to be sieging, lowering the armor, they also really need damage output. You kind of talked about how Weaver is lacking in damage, which he's slowly remedying it by picking up a Demon Edge. Puck is basically a utility hero at this point. They need a reliable source of damage somewhere, and it's going to be provided by Nature's Prophet. Eventually, I think he should go back for the Scythe of Ice because it's kind of the best ultra late game item. But for now, I feel Desolator is the perfect item pickup, and glad to see him picking up.
Yeah, and also to expand that, it synergizes so well with Weaver. When you're chasing, you can just teleport. Nature's Prophet is one of the few heroes who can keep up with the Weaver in chasing contests. As Fada, once again, flirting with death, just going to juke out TC a little bit. And Mouse is actually the one applying the pressure themselves. And again, this split pushing lineup by Mouse, it's kind of hard to catch up to them, as it's sort of similar to an anti-mage when you sort of deal with the Weaver and Nature's Prophet. It's really hard to hunt them down with this slow and steady lineup that Liquid has. So it's going to be difficult, as the creep wave, or the creepy Galarian, is starting to never be in the favor of Liquid. As Korok diving behind enemy lines, looking for a courier snipe or a nice juicy support. Can he find anything? He's going to go head towards Ancient Camps, which he might find Koikwa. Koikwa does have a sprout, but his teleport is on cooldown. Koikwa, one shot, no detection on Korok. Did manage to take 3 shots at the very least, and Korok just going to have to be content taking some nice juicy Ancients. As Mouse once again delaying, Liquid going to push to the top instead to get that last tier 2. And meanwhile, the Roshan going to respawn in about 2 minutes. So Liquid trying to get all the macro control on their side, try to take third Roshan, and then I'm sure they're going to look to end the game.
Well, I'm not sure whether they can take the Roshan, or at least as easily as they took the previous two, because like you keep pointing out, the mouse forward split push is really good. And suddenly, again, like I said, the game, if it gets elongated, it's going to be more and more into mouse forward's favor, especially if both teams are trading evenly or slightly disadvantaged to mouse. The longer the game goes, the hero's just more accustomed to the late game. At least, well, maybe not so much, because the support on the Dire is just a little bit better late game. Maybe Alina support isn't that useful late game. And maybe the Rubik support is not that useful this particular game in the late game, because what are you really going to steal? Illuminate? Disruption? There's not like premium OP ultimates
It's a
you can
sad
steal
day
like
when
OP.
the best spell you can steal is probably like Purge or Refraction.
Yeah, Refraction's not bad. Purge
Or
is
the
not bad.
traps. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but still, in a Rubik game, you expect to steal better spells.
exactly. So maybe that's why that Team Liquid doesn't have Magnus. I'm not sure if that's really stretching the argument. Maybe it is. But yeah, the supports on the Radiant, if it goes late enough, it's not going to have a huge impact. With that said, and the global pressure ability of Recall and Blinding Light, probably a little bit more useful. So we'll see how this game's going to go, but the game plan doesn't change from Mouseport. It's going to be split push, it's going to be free pickoffs when they fan, because the pickoff ability of Puck as well as Nature Prophet it's not bad. You know, TP's in, a coil, a couple of right clicks, and burst damage. They can pick off a couple of heroes here and there, so
I think
they're
when it
doing
comes
just
down to
that.
Roshan, Liquid's just going to say, screw it. I mean, we have a Daedalus almost up on Korok. We're just going to eat that Roshan alive in like 2 or 3
Yeah,
seconds.
I agree.
So they probably don't even care about the creepy big orb. They still have 2 tier 2 towers, and the middle tier 3 tower, well, it's at 3/4 HP. So I think Liquid, when it comes down to Roshan engagement, they'll just go for it. They probably don't care, as actually the mid lane is pushed out a reasonable amount, and Mouse really, again, unable to contest Liquid at this really strong point. Weaver making his way slowly towards that MKV, but it's always a dangerous line to tread as a Weaver, especially with that Linken's. You don't have that backup safety net in the form of the Lincoln Sphere, and do you want to get the damage, which Weaver desperately needs as sooner, and ooh, Balbo is eyeing him up. That eye candy by Lina. Clock clearly not impressed because he's all just a robot. And yeah, I mean, Black's gonna have to be careful, because if he buys the MKV, no buyback. Actually, he's gonna teleport out of there. Manalik just doing so much work. So it's going to be a tower trade, and the Aegis goes down onto Korok once again.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm not sure. It was a very, very kind of sad moment when you realize, yeah, we have the split push, but we can't challenge the Roshan. And the Dire got a Roshan, basically exactly like you said. They walked in for free, no damn given. And I think Mouseport basically did the best thing they could have. Send forward top to get that tier 2, and then send Weaver to get the tier 2 bot. It was ultimately denied, but suddenly at the end of the day, you know, all outer towers being knocked down, and Mouseport put themselves in a prime position to basically win on 1 or 2 in team fight, and suddenly the pressure goes on the other side of the map. Keep in mind that once Mouseport win a team fight, suddenly every lane gets pushed. Mouseport could farm in the enemy jungle as well as their own jungle with the Nature's Prophet, and the game gets a lot more tough. Or a lot tougher for Team Liquid. But obviously that's not what happened. They first need to win that one big team fight. And Team Liquid is right in front of your doorstep with Aegis and Chiefs, and of course a big Daedalus on the Templar Assassin. So Team Liquid's coming for you guys, and I'm not too sure what they have to defend. Again, the lack of damage is still haunting them. There's the Weaver with the MKB. There is a Desolator on the Nature's Prophet. They need to have basically a perfect Dream Coil. And so far, well, Fada hasn't dropped that perfect Dream Coil yet, and that Bear's going to go on top of Rex.
Yeah, and it's really, really dicey for Mouse, because again, since Black got that MKB, he doesn't have buyback, so if he dies, he's dead, and that's going to be his second set of racks. But they're going to focus their attention on the Bear. The Bear might very well end up perishing right here. That's a lot of damage sustained by the Bear. Glyph is still up for Mouse. They are going to kill the Bear once. If they can kill the Bear again, there goes a lot of the damage, and a lot of the gold is picked up by the 100, but instead they're going to smartly send Korok saying, I have the Aegis. As here comes a hooking by Balba, going to get 2 people, but no cogs being dropped just yet. Nice lift by the Rubik, and meanwhile the Bear's going to chase down Sinner, and Blade Mail is being popped by the Clockwork. Liquid going to pick up the Rex. Glyph popped late, as Liquid just going to be very, very satisfied in the engagement. All they sacrificed was a Bear, they got a Rex, and they're just going to get the heck out of dodge. But meanwhile, Quick on the top lane saying, this is what I have to deal with in the Nature's Problem in the late game, especially with the Desolator. He pushes so damn fast and kills buildings so damn fast, and now he's flirting with 6k gold. As meanwhile on the bottom lane, Paz gonna get a kill with the help of Fada onto IX Mike. TA will manage to pick off Puck in exchange, and Korok will be on the retreat still as the Aegis manages to decimate an entire creep line. As Black is going to be in pursuit, I don't really see the point in chasing a TA, as Black seems to think otherwise. TA gonna pick
Yeah.
up the illusion rune,
Oh my
and
god, and TA's gonna come right back. He's so lucky that there was no big crit on top of that one attack. Or Black might have just actually just straight up blew up here. You don't want to mess around with the Daedalus crit. Yeah, Black really need to farm. Good job by Koifa split pushing top. At least got themselves a tier 3 out of that exchange. Really couldn't defend bot. And it was very, very kind of nice sieging being done by Team Liquid. The way they did it was you send a bear up front. Once the bear got low, then you send a Templar Assassin with the Aegis up front. Basically, they get an attack team. Like, bear gets low, Templar Assassin goes in. So it makes that any type of AoE that the Radiant throw out doesn't hurt both targets, if that makes sense. So that one Dragon Slave won't burn down 300 HP, for example, on both the
gonna
bear
get
and
lifted
TA.
up into the air, gonna take a defensive disruption pass, will end up getting entangled, and you can see the bottom lane, Liquid, managed to get in scot-free because they already previously took down the tier 3, but this tier 3 is at almost full HP. It's going to be a lot more difficult for Liquid to attack the high ground, as meanwhile the AC has been finished up on the bear. The bear is still going to be on cooldown. He will have that second bear online very, very soon, so that will allow Liquid to play a bit more risky, but again, Bulba going to get another 2-man hook. Dreamcoil going to catch 3 by Fada, but there is no backup damage. Korok will BKB up. He is going to lose the Aegis. The bear just does not care. Going to go to work on that tier 3 tower. Black gets that Shikuchi off. They managed to clean up the tier 3 tower. Laguna Blade, oh man, it hits a refraction, so it doesn't do anything, as Korok will be forced to retreat. Very low in terms of HP. Fada gonna blink ahead. Black pumping out the DPS in the backlines. No buyback on Black if he does die, as IX Mike will be on the pursuit. Koiko does manage to die, as Liquid's gonna get ushered away. The bear is still at full HP. Was forced to pop the cheese. Liquid all at very low in terms of HP, and Black still wants more. He's gonna have to be very careful. This is such a dicey situation if he dies. Again, no buyback in Black. Ooh, he's gonna have to run. He's gonna have to hide. Weaver, very adept at doing so, and Liquid gonna push in, saying we still have a full HP bear. We can do this.
Yeah, 4 HP bear, every other hero at low red health or medium health, they really need that mech on cooldown. Koifa TP's back in, and they're Black and his team is trying so hard to slow this down stage.
Oh,
nice
Pass with the hook!
Man, he's delaying as long as possible, but the bear just doesn't care. Pucks comes in. These are kind of like sneak and run guerrilla tactics, but it's a big tank in the form of a bear, and he runs in, he gets the racks, and he gets out. Meanwhile, look at Korok, he blinks back in, pops the BKB, trying to run. Refraction's going to be blocking a lot of it. Puck blinks in, trying to help out there as well. They are going to finally get Korok. Are they going to get a little bit more? No, Boba. He's going to force to have Cog and run his way out of here.
And despite that, Liquid are still very, very much ahead, but quickly able to clean up the top melee barracks, so that's going to make it difficult for Liquid to push in, as Bulba going to get coiled up, going to try to delay as long as possible. Weaver does manage to get the last hit onto Bulba, now floating with 2.3k gold, as 3 heroes on the side Liquid are dead. Korok does have buybacks, so he will most assuredly use it, as meanwhile, Mouz down 2 melee barracks, lost the range barracks as well due to the creep wave, as Black just trying to get as much equilibrium on his side. Puck critically finishes the Scythe device. That's going to be so instrumental in terms of Mouz actually able to delay some of the damage that Liquid's pumping through, as well as just try to focus Liquid down. And meanwhile, Koikoa with the finished AC, he already uses his buyback. AC minus armor, DPS Nature's Prophet is the way to go in this game, but he is going to have to be very careful. Only has 1400 HP, so Koikoa going at the unorthodox silent build, but it's clearly necessary in this game.
Yeah, I feel like actually that was a big win in the last team fight for Mouseport. Being down 1 racks versus being down 2 racks is not really that big of a disadvantage. It's really the first racks that hurt, and they already lost that clean on the bot push. What they got out of exchange as the melee racks up top, especially on the last lane that Team Liquid wants to push down, that's a huge, huge advantage. And of course, when you have a hero like Nature's Prophet, being up any racks or being able to break enemy high ground racks is very, very key. So we'll see whether that's enough for them to hold down. If they could hold one more time, or if they could hold the first time, I think Mouseport can make this comeback. But looks like Koifa is coming in, trying to get some free pickoff. But I'm not sure where they want to go. Black, gotta be careful as Korok putting out the big deeps. Yeah, I just don't know how Mouseport still defend against that bear. The bear just high fives all day at Raxus, and it's just so hard for them to stop. And when you have heroes like Puck, how do you really push out lanes? You can see that he's trying so hard. He's nuking these wave every time he sees them, but it is just tough for kind of a spell-based mid-hero to push out these waves.
Well, Liquid also lost a gem in that exchange, so we're gonna get back to the issue that Weaver is actually putting out some respectable DPS with the Crystalist, no buyback, but he doesn't care. He's just unable to die in these engagements even without the Lincoln. So if Weaver is gonna have to do so much DPS in these engagements, good thing that he doesn't have to deal with an Aegis and a Cheese anymore, as this is gonna be a critical engagement for Mouz. If they manage to take this, they are gonna be able to get themselves back in game, try to get the control for the next Roshan, but Liquid just gonna plow into the tier 2. Again, the bear does not care. TC has not died at all this game, has really just been positioning himself beautifully. TC has been playing on top of his game at this moment, has 3.3k gold in the bank, might go for that Abyssal, and Abyssal on the Weaver without a Lincolns is just gonna mean one dead bug.
Does Abyssal cost mana? It costs 100 mana, right?
Yeah, but usually the bear just switches it, and then after he uses it, he puts it on his Spirit Bear.
Okay, so maybe... Well, that will force TC to get close to the fight, which, again, like you said, he's been pretty good in terms of staying away from it. So we'll see. It might actually make his positioning, it might compromise his positioning is what I'm trying to say. So right now, Team Liquid, basically they have all the time in the world because they are up 2 Rexes, no matter whether you're against Nature's Prophet or not. So it makes the push a lot easier. They don't have to force as much. And of course, it's going to give Boba all the time in the world to actually look for that hook. As I say that though, Nature's Prophet threatening the TP bot to start the push. Maybe once they realize Nature's Prophet's thought they can make it go. But here comes the pipe. Here comes the bear again. It's just taking a ton of damage, but it's dealing a ton himself. The bear gets picked up. It's going to have to get resummoned. Force that backwards. That didn't save it. And it's going to be the second resummon of the Lone Druid. He's going to be, yep, he's going to get a resummon. So they get basically one more shot at this. And if they don't get it off, no, they don't actually push this. TC, what, Lone Druid's going to TP back? Just flat out, why?
It's too risky. There's so much gold invested on that bear, and without that DPS, I mean, sure, you can switch some of the items to the true hero, but then you don't have that risk-free way of just going into the tower, laying siege to it. So I think they can afford to wait 2 minutes. Roshan's going to respawn. They're going to look to take that. I mean, again, like you said, they're not in a rush. It's so difficult for Mouz to actually push in at this point. They're going to be constantly confined to the base. And now we see the problem of dealing with Keeper the Light, Clock. With that global lineup, you can just send 1 or 2 heroes back and just always be in the thick of things. As Clock with the Blade Mail looking to fish that Aghanim Scepter. Koikwa has that buyback just cooling down. And Mouz trying to get some positioning going. It's only about 30 seconds before the next Roshan. This moment is absolutely must win for Mouz. If they lose this Aegis and Cheese, another risk-free way for Liquid to initiate will be open to them. As Black looking to get some movement, X-Mike flirting with death, as he so often does. They're going to spot the bear. The bear does not care. Once again, going to get a first hit bash onto the Puck. Puck forced to phase, as Koika going to try to do some pot shots with Desolator. Bulba getting lifted up in the air. Blade Mail going to be used. Synderen taking the disruption. Diffusal Blade onto Pos, as Pos steals the refraction. Going to refract so much of the damage, as meanwhile T8 does manage to pick up Pos. Puck going to get a Dream Coil Sprout. Going to get 2 or 3 heroes as well as the bear, but the damage is just not there for Mouz, as both of the supports are going to get picked off. Koiko forced to teleport to the top lane, and man, Liquid are just shrugging off these minor irritances, or minor annoyances in DPS, and they're just going to go in, claim Roshan, and make their way towards the victory.
Yeah, I felt that Mouseport had a very, very poor team fight. The 2 supports were cut away from the rest of the team, and they were able to disable for a ton of time. And to their credit, they were able to survive for quite a bit, dropping LSAs, using that refract, like you said. But it didn't matter. They had Team Liquid had all the time in the world to kill them because they're not suffering from any DPS from the Weaver. So basically, the Mouseport team split in half and was punished severely for Poifa trying to split push up top, but really, he's not actually split pushing anything important. Even if he gets range racks, it's still a range racks. He might as well try to TP in and backdoor that range racks, perhaps, with this ton of minus armor to work with. He didn't even do that, so it's really a futile lane to push in. I guess the only benefit that you get by pushing this lane is you delay the ultimate final push that's going to come from Team Liquid. Fata, kind of very deep in enemy territory. He's got to be very careful. He does have Blink, and he's going to make it out alive fairly easily. Koifa is going to TP on the bot lane and continue split push. If there's any other hero in the game other than Nature's Prophet, I think Mouseport would have lost by now, but really taking advantage of the global TP to his full potential right now.
Interesting that Liquid actually choosing to give the Cheese to Bulba, Aegis to TC. Korok still has a 4-charge drum. I guess he had to rebuy the rest of you, but still, I think Cheese is probably better than drums. But, I mean, that does give Mouz an option, because Korok doesn't have buyback, so if they can manage to focus on Korok, that could be a lot of DPS, but still, I don't imagine that Korok will put himself into a risky situation when they have an Aegis Lone Druid on their side who has that Talus and evasion on top of everything. So now, even though there's an MKB on the Weaver, I mean, the bear don't care. Weaver, just a bug. He's a bear.
Yeah, lift up, right click, the evasion doing some work, toss him back as well. The Sprout on top, they're doing a ton of spells. And well, the bear lost about a quarter of health. Next time it walks up the hill, it's going to deal with the exact same amount of things. So not exactly how Team Liquid's actually going to get the siege off. They have to back off against the Wrath of Nature. They again, like I said, they have the time in the world. They have the Aegis and Cheese. And here we go, TC walking in. Keeping the bear on the back lines, actually, of all things. Now the bear walks in, so again, the layer push. Now Korok backs off. This is a very annoying push. It's like a snapping turtle. They come out, they bite you a couple of times. The head comes back into the tough shell. And again, they will rinse and repeat. And here, guess what? Your HP on the tower is gonna slow down the drop. And here we go. They're even gonna start throwing Korok illusions. Templar Assassin comes in. You know, they're doing a little bit of pot shot damage as well. Just annoying siege.
And Mouse, they can't wait around forever. This is their last tier 3 tower. The bear's gonna get sprouted. It will end up dying, but they use a glyph again at a weird time, and the bear actually gonna get mech'd up, so they don't even kill the bear. They do force a mechanism, but the glyph usage just not really that good for Mouse in these situations. As Mouse slowly but surely, their tower is being worked away. DD up on Puck, but again, he's just a fairy dragon. And DD just times out, so a bit unfortunate for Fada. As here comes the pipe usage. Korok once again, he and his illusions are going to work as this tier 3 tower will end up perishing, and Mouse really unable to do anything. And Liquid, again, didn't even send the bear in that time, so the bear healing up to almost 3/4 HP, and he does have a second bear again in his back pocket when he decides to resummon that. So Mouse, they're gonna have to take this fight outside the base, but where can they find an opening? No smoke in the seat. Liquid have a ward there, so they can't even wrap around. So it's just very tricky for Mouse actually to fight, and even then, if they do fight, the damage is not there, as Pas, trying to do what he can, orb out by Fada, as here comes a hook in by Bulba, gonna catch out Black, Blade Mouse popped, the cogs actually gonna push Black away, gonna save Black's life as Koika gonna be destroyed, gonna have to buy back. Meanwhile, TC just working down on the barracks. Black trying to do as much as he can, but how much can he do? Not enough, apparently, as Korok gonna go in, trying to siege down Pas. Refraction once again being used, Laguna Blade being popped on IX Mike. Pas it's too hard. It's too hard for Mouse. It's just too fucking hard.
Relentless buyback coming out from Mouseport. They're all back, and now Cinder eating Melt Strike to the face. Korok gets lifted up. He's fine. Black's doing a ton of deeps, but Self-Destruct's gonna survive, make SC survive. The rack still stands. That's a key thing, though. But right now, the resource... Oh! Korok comes in. Huge crits out of nowhere. Double kill, triple kill. The Rax is gonna go down. Mouseport calls the GG.
I was gonna say, you made a funny joke. Weaver doing mad DPS. Weaver doing nothing.
Did I say that?
You said Weaver doing mad DPS. No DPS. Weaver.
No, it was doing mad deeps, man, against Axe Mike, and he self-disrupted it and then no damage, so. I gotta say, though, that was some of the most tense defense I've seen a team do, and I think Mouseport fought against the world. Like, they're fighting against multiple urns on the bear, mech, pipe, multiple disruption on the TA to send TA illusions in, and credit to them, they held out longer than I gave them credit for, and then I thought they could have, but they did. Eventually, though, the big train that is Team Liquid just crashed straight into the base, and there was no stopping it.
Yep, Liquid just too beefy, and Mouse picked a bit too greedy of a lineup, so ultimately it did come back to bite him in the ass a little bit. But that's going to be it for Mouse in the winners bracket of the Cursed Dota Invitational. They will be sent to the losers bracket, and we'll see who they have to play. But Liquid going to move on. It is a $10,000 tournament over the span of 3 weekends, so definitely a short tournament is something that a lot of teams greatly appreciate. So thanks for watching, everybody. You can find Luminous at Luminous Inverse on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that jazz, TI3, all that stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.
GG.